So let's talk about the single player. This is not of the single player. Just deal with it. I'm not gonna capture footage of every goddamn thing. So just. And the problem with the single player in this game is that it is so adequate, so just kind of there and meh, that I can really I struggle to tell you anything super cool or major that even happened, and that's very bizarre. And what's even stranger to me is that I wasn't compelled to play it very much at all. I had to actively remind myself, oh, I want to finish this so I can kind of talk about it. And I do a couple missions and then just be pulled away by pretty much anything else in the game. Um, and that's not to say that the single player is bad, because it isn't. It's just so okay. And it feels also like it's trying to be two very different things, because it has Iden Versio, who's part of the Empire, and her obvious switch over to the good side, the light side, not the dark side, but some side. But it has all that, and it's just kind of barely there. And then the other half of it is these little kind of strange fan fiction, power fantasy levels where you're playing as Luke or whoever. That they're heroes that are in the game that you can play as in the multiplayer, and here they are in the single player. And I don't mind that. It's just, is there so little of it? And people saying that it's like 4 hours. It's probably a little bit more than that, but not much. Just barely over that 3-4 hours. And to have so little of it be like, oh, that, remember that cool moment? Like, no, I really don't. It was just kind of here and there and gone, and it never focused on any one thing for too long for me to be like, oh, that was really cool. Like, the one big takeaway, and to its credit actually, is there about half of it, maybe a little less, are the spaceship starfighter battles, which I think are excellent. I love that part of the game in the multiplayer, and we'll get to that in a minute. But for the single player, it kind of has that all the time. Like, oh, you're in the ship, and now you're in space, and then, oh, land on this other thing, and take out these generators, and then leave, and that's really cool stuff. And I see what they're trying to get to, and you can also kind of see how there's a lot of just writing and exposition left on the cutting room floor, where we'll never really know all these steps that built up to where Iden is or was or whatever, because it wouldn't make sense to kind of show it in a game like this. It's too, I guess, mainstream to have it. I don't know. It just feels very filleted. You're not getting the full experience that you could get. Yes, people outside talking. I can hear you. Thank you. They're excited about Star Wars. And the thing, too, the single player is what everyone was clamoring for. Ironically, John Boyega, who complained to Star Wars Battlefront that one tweet of like, where's the single player in this game? And they put in a single player, and he's not even in the game. Like, come on. He's the one who... It's ridiculous. But that's besides the point. This is what people wanted. More single player content. A Star Wars story single player. And they give you that. But I think they aimed really high, and they hit way below that, and I think they could have aimed way lower and done something more interesting and more fun. We have these missions, even where it's like defending Maz Kanata's castle, that aren't like iconic movie moments. I mean, it's something you remember from Force Awakens, but it's not iconic movie moment. It's not Hoth, right? But we have those maps in this game. And just playing that as in a single player level with story bits going on, reliving moments from all 20 movies or whatever it is at this point, that sounds almost just as interesting to me as a single player, especially when it starts doing these fan fiction-y things. Oh, here's Luke on this planet, and you're Luke now. I'm like, yeah, but I want to be Luke taking down the Death Star. I want to be Luke fighting Darth Vader. I don't want to be Luke with some weirdo you made up, right? And that's the kind of the difference here. And the other thing too is there's single player. You can play the matches against AI. I never did try that, but I did do the challenges, which are single player. Hey, Delphox. you can do these challenges, which are little challenges, haha, that is basically you or in a squad or just you against as a hero or as a normal soldier and beat 20 guys and as fast as you can, right? And that's so underwhelming. And it goes back to what I was saying about give me the Endor fight. Like there's a level on Endor. There's all these levels. There is a Hoth level. There is a Starkiller base level. Let me just play the movie loosely. And that's basically all you have to do. Let that be the single player, where I'm on Hoth as just a soldier, taking points and capturing bases and stuff. You could even have me die and I have to respawn as another character. That's totally cool, right? And then, let me get into a speedster and let me take out an AT-AT, which you can't do. Or can you do it? Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, you can do it. I just never did it because I'm terrible. But you can do it. Let that be the single player. Either let that be the single player or don't have the single player be so gimped by your forced fan fiction nonsense being in it. You know, if the single player even had been 4 hours of Aiden's journey and it had started and ended in the same places, but there was just more stuff in it, it would have been a lot better. But we're left with some question marks and free DLC in the future, and I can't, as someone who is a big single player person who was playing this in a large part because I'll get a good single player, to hear even before I played it that it wasn't very long and it wasn't that great was disheartening. And the only saving grace to that is that I did enjoy the rest of the game quite a bit. So that's all the single player. Giant shrug.